Jones turning it down for Lorimer. Oh, beautifully struck goal!
It's going to be Johnny Giles with the corner, and from these set pieces there's a great deal of holding going on at both ends in the penalty area. He slipped. That's Paul. Lorimer. Jones trying to feed on it. Brenda! 1-0. This season, and what a way to climax it. Dunreevy up to celebrate and to tell the team that that's the goal that matters. Now maintain the discipline. Bremner really ran that home. The highlight of one of his best matches so far this season.
Put that away as clean as a whistle.
Still Bremner with a chance, and a good goal by Billy Bremner. With Everton stretched, Bremner puts Leeds ahead. Hunter going across to help, and three in the middle waiting. Here comes Giles for a shot, and straight through by Johnny Giles. Lawson unsighted, and Giles makes it 2-0 to Leeds. Bremner. Clark. Jones. Oh, good flick! And the third goal by Mick Jones.
Madeley up at the back of the box. It's Bremner! What terrible marking by Tottenham! A good ball, Giles to Lorimer. Here's Bremner! Good return ball. Jones! Clark!
Madeley to Gray. To Lorimer, may hit one from there. A goal! Oh! A typical Lorimer effort. A typical Peter Lorimer shot. Reaney and Lorimer both on the right, but it's straight through by McQueen to Bremner. Now Reaney really takes the weight off Lorimer. Reaney. Giles to Lorimer. High kicking by Pendry. Giles curling it up for Jones, headed away well by Burns. Reaney back to Jones. Gray's in on this. Off the top of the bar! Eddie Gray getting up to that flick by Jones, and the header dropping on top of the bar with Cooper stretching desperately. Phillips. That one's miscued, just as Birmingham were coming away from defence well. It's a gift for Gray. Jones running. Down he goes. Penalty. Mr. Capey having no doubt at all. Burns the offender. Jones the man brought down. And a penalty. Mr. Capey didn't waste any time. As Jones went down, Burns going across to talk to the referee, which might not be the wisest thing to do. He's explaining what happened. Malcolm Page telling Burns not to argue, it won't do him any good. Ray Martin also giving the wise counsel of the experienced player. And Lorimer, who's already scored. Cooper is the goalkeeper who has to get in the way. And there's the man with the most blistering shot in football. He's already hit one past Cooper from 30 yards. This one is from merely 12. Place. Lorimer didn't need to blast that one. He sent Cooper the wrong way and rolled it in. The effect is the same. The effect on the scoreboard the same. Leeds United 2, Birmingham City 0. This is Phillips. That's for Taylor. Gordon Taylor, very tricky little winger. Having fun and games and winning out with Gray. Taylor put on to put more pep in the Birmingham attack. Mr. KP gives a corner. Paul Madeley thinks it's a goal kick with some justification. But since the referee's opinion is the only one that counts, it's a corner. Gordon Taylor. Former Bolton Wanderers winger Roger Hind has gone onto the goal line. That was the head of McQueen getting that away. Page. Taylor. Gray, and Gray's off on his own. He's got Lorimer and Jones in support. Lorimer is onside for his hat-trick, is it? Yes! A straightforward 1-2-3 hat-trick for Peter Lorimer, made by Gray. It all began with a slip by the Birmingham defence on the halfway line, which let Gray through. There was no cover. Lorimer stayed onside and put it past Cooper. So a hat-trick for Peter Lorimer.
The 18,000 crowd at Elland Road was modest by Leeds standards, but still more than 3 times what the Norwegians in the dark strip are used to. Their number 5 is under pressure here. He makes a mistake, and Alan Clark scores a simple first goal for Leeds. Leeds found that quite an affront, and just afterwards Bremner knocked the ball through for Mick Jones, who looked offside but was allowed to play on to put Leeds back in front at 2-1. Lorimer now with a corner for Leeds on the right. This is not properly cleared. It's knocked back by Bremner, on by Jones. Clark is lurking as usual and scores off the post. At half-time, Leeds led by 3-1. Lorimer really enjoying himself on the right. His cross comes to Frankie Gray, Eddie's brother, little chip, and that's the 4th goal for Leeds. By now, the Norwegians were really demoralised, and it wasn't very long after that Mick Bates scored a 5th goal for Leeds. The crowd were certainly enjoying themselves, and so too was Peter Lorimer. Here he goes again, and from this cross, Mick Jones scores the 6th and last goal, and his 2nd of the match. So in the end, it was a good night's target practice for the Leeds attackers. Taken by Giles. That was Clark. Jones getting up. Yes!
Hunter for Madeley. Searching for Clark. Bates, early for Giles. Lorimer under this. It's a good ball, Jones! Yes, indeed. Mick Jones pulls one back. So now it's 2-1. Just wondering whether Peter Lorimer might just have got a touch with his hand as that ball came over Rope's head, but the ball he knocked in then for Mick Jones made scoring more or less a formality, even against a goalkeeper as good as Shilton.
Dennis Rofe is very talented fullback. Won himself an under-23 cap last summer. Queen out as far as Samuels. That's a beautiful shot and a fabulous save. John Samuels really giving that one the hammer. Glover getting it back for Rofe, and that's only as far as Bremner. Bremner in encouraging people to work out this throw-in situation. Lorimer for Bremner, a little bit slow. Jones back for Cherry. Bates wide for Madeley. Hunter. Now Giles. And Woolett comes away with it, but they say he handled the ball. So an awkward free kick for the Leicester defenders again. Giles through, Bremner, and he's allowed it! He is allowed the goal! It's 2-2 and Bremner scored it. Well, there was a case of the Leicester players at 6s and 7s, not sure whether the wall was back far enough, but Giles spotted the confusion, knocked a quick ball through, and Bremner gets on the end and beats Shilton. 2-2.
The referee saying play on, he may well have been fouled, but the referee playing the advantage rule. Bremner for Lorimer. Jones, what a good goal! What a beautifully taken goal by Jones!
Lucky with him, and the corner. Green doing a Jack Charlton. Booth's header, Bates' shot! And Paul McRae just couldn't have seen that.
So Madeley using that stride of his again. Jones. Clark. Madeley. Bates couldn't get out of the way. Jones, Bates. Big Bates. Throw to West Ham United, and Bobby Moore once again having to lift his side from beneath. It's an unfortunately familiar habit for Hammers this season now. Bad pass sets Jones up. Lorimer's outside him. That's for Lorimer at the angle. Clark in the penalty area. Jones! Number 2. Good goal. Jones, Lorimer, Jones. Jones chasing, he's done it, I think. Yes, he has. That's 3. Beautifully taken by Jones. Madeley. Hunter. Cherry now going forward for Leeds. On the left is Bates. Plenty of men in the middle. Clark. Goal! A model header by Clark, and once again, Day left standing. Coming through to Jones, back for Bremner. It's there, the equaliser by Bremner in the first minute of the second half. Lorimer. Good header away by McClintock. Yoris. Jones!